Magazine. Please welcome the actors who played Bruce and Dick, better known as, you guessed it, Batman and Robin, Adam West and Burt Ward. Let me see it. Well, thank you. Thank you two for being here.
How do you like my belt, Gar?
Is that the famous Batman utility belt?
This is the fertility belt.
No,
yes.
utility.
A utility belt.
Yeah.
I thought I'd wear it on because I know you're going to probably talk about Batman, and I wanted to show you something that nobody has ever seen before, except Burt, of course.
Do you think you should do that here?
Well, there's some... There's some very dangerous crime-fighting equipment in this belt, so it is a little risky to take it off.
This is why he was so good at this.
Yep.
With this twinkle and this sort of satiric... Go ahead.
None of you... You haven't been drinking or anything.
No, everybody's...
It's all right,
yeah,
just show
okay.
it around. This, Burt, you recall, of course, this is the famous Batarang in this compartment.
The Batarang?
Yes.
Which was what?
Well, we threw that, and we caught it on things, and we could climb lines and get there.
Okay.
And in here is the Bat Shield. So if I open this now and whipped it out...
So to speak,
you would see a large plastic shield which would protect everyone on the stage.
Yes.
Over here...
And you may need that by the time this is over.
If there's any crime here, I see there. Over here, I have my cutty sock. No, I have... This is a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in case... Oh, that's enough of this nonsense.
What fun. What fun.
You want to try it on?
No, thank you. I'll just sit here and admire it. I can't get over this. This show was on 2 nights a week, prime time, took off, was in the top 10 for 2 years. Did anybody have any idea it was going to be so successful?
I don't think so. At least we knew it was different, and we knew it was fun, but we didn't know what the audience reaction would be. And then after the first night, and I think we had some unbelievable 55 share, that is when all of a sudden we said, wow, I mean, I guess everybody's watching Batman.
Yeah.
And for the next 2.5 years, we found ourselves in that Bat Cave on stage 16 at 20th Century Fox.
Now, there's a cover of Life, and that shows you the impact. And people don't make the cover of Life, or they didn't in those days, without being successful.
Well, we were very, very lucky with the show, Gary, that it hit so hard, and it seemed that everyone was waiting to see it because they really beat the drums for the show. And the show was not on very long prime time, 2.5, 3 seasons, but it went into reruns, and they were really interested in getting enough product for reruns. And as you mentioned, we were on twice a week. So that gave us enough reruns.
So for every season, you had 2 seasons' work.
Yeah, so we could go on in reruns, and now it's playing in what,
106 countries throughout the world.
And I think the last thing I heard from Fox Research Department
something like 400 million people a day watching Batman
You're continuing
worldwide.
to be seen, and you're as current as you are sitting here today around the world.
Absolutely.
The other thing that was so wonderful is that guest stars, I mean, really well-known, famous actors would, I assume, be calling you to be your guest villains. Now, can you name a few that you had? They were wonderful characters.
Oh, Cesar Romero, Burgess Meredith, we had...
Frank Gorshin, Julie Newmar, Leanne Merriweather played a Catwoman in the movie.
That's right.
Tallulah Bankhead, people like that. George Saunders, those are now departed. But,
yes.
Right, and the ones that couldn't make it as a villain, because remember, we only had 2 shows a week, and there was an awful lot of stars that wanted to be on. So the ones that couldn't make it, because there wasn't enough room, they would put them on as guest cameo roles. In other words, so they would be coming out of the window when we're going up the side of the building, and I would always go first, and I'd get about halfway up, and somebody would come out the window, and of course I would turn around and say something to Adam, with letting go with one hand, 26 stories up, and then they would make comments, and Sammy Davis Jr., Don Ho, and quite a number of superstars.
Joan Collins, your friend Joan, was on the show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of
was Batgirl a part of your program, or was that a separate? I can't remember.
The last season, it was
added. She was added,
She was added to the show.
Yes, Yvonne Craig.
Yeah. Let's talk about today. What's going on today for you two?
Burt, go ahead.
Well, I got out of the business for a while, and then in January, I came back into the business, having gotten into merchandising and things, and since January, I've guest starred in a pilot for NBC called High School USA.
Good for you.
And I just finished a Goodyear commercial, national commercial, which is airing now. And, well, both Adam and I have signed to do some films. One of them is together. It's called Blood Scent, and it's very exciting.
Has nothing to do with Batman, obviously.
No, we're playing a couple of narcs on the border of Brownsville, Texas. We're burnouts, really. Burnouts from New York, and we come out, we think it's a fat farm or something, but we're really reassigned to some horrible, shot out there, and so we're going to do that.
That's terrific. So life is well for you two.
Yeah, I'm producing and directing a bit.
I knew that. Yeah.
And I've got another film called Passing Fancy. I'm going to start soon. So it's all right, you know. We're not doing like you. You go to a job every day. I think that's wonderful.
I think that's important.
You're doing great at it, too.
You know, we had this discussion. Thank you, by the way. We had this discussion. We were talking about the reunions and that sort of dicey area about asking people what they're doing, because people are very successful, doing very well. It's just they're not on a weekly television series, and yet people want to know what everybody's doing.
Right.
So we in no way.
Yeah, I've got to get back to the service station, too.
I thank you both so much for making this a very successful series, our reunion series. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Good to see you.
Thank you.
And you, Burt.